episode 67 with Christian Edwards, Dylan Bowker, Brad and Taralynne Sullivan, and Kevin L. Johnson from Ozark. Let's do it. Hello, John Foster. Welcome to episode 67.
Wow. Man, that intro's sick. That new intro is great. I really like that.
Nice, cool. Yeah, it's about the best, probably the most professional thing about the whole stream.
Yeah, it's good. Kind of like, it's like a false sense of whatever, and then boom, you're already got
Then it comes to us.
Yeah. It's too late. You're dialed in.
Too bad I couldn't like people in. They're like, fuck, this podcast is going to be wicked.
God damn it.
Oh, big erection. No.
Yeah, that's right.
How's your day, man?
It was good, man. Flat out. I finally finished up renovating that house. It's on the market. Things are going well with that. And so it's back to the gym, working on reopening. So with the fitness facilities, today Strang approved the requirements that were submitted.
Nice.
The reopen rules or whatever. So so that would happen today. We've already got wheels in motion on a few things we figured were probably going to need to be implemented.
Huge.
I've been in the last couple of days just working hard, implementing the reopen. As far as martial arts gyms goes, I don't know. It's still, the sticking point still distancing 6 feet apart. We're looking at like 144 square feet per person as a requirement. So if you're a smaller gym, I mean, if you're any MMA gym, you can have 4 or 5 people in the gym essentially.
Yeah. But what's the requirement? Like I don't. But that's where I don't understand. Like, so you can have certain people in certain places, but then they still have to social distance. Like, yeah,
exactly. And that's the reasoning behind the space requirement. Because if we each have allotted 144 square feet or whatever the number is they landed on, because I did hear 144 square feet take away 30%. Or 30% of that at first. So with that, I think that the whole point of that is just to keep people 6 feet apart. If we've got that much space, then we can stay apart. And we got to do a bunch of things at the Motive gym. Obviously, our capacity is limited. We're thinning out equipment. We're gonna have hand sanitizer as soon as you come in the door.
Nice.
Plexiglass. I picked up the big sheet of plexiglass today to put up over the counter, in front of the counter, and that. We've got more like a new disinfectant coming that's COVID approved. That's gonna go into like what do you call it? Those fine mist guns, right? So we can hit like barbells and dumbbells and things like that you can't that are more difficult to wipe down, and that should save us a lot of time on the new like disinfectant regime we're gonna put in place. We got to do like the direction, so everyone comes in the door. They follow the arrows. They're 6 feet apart. Once we hit capacity, there's signage. Everyone lines up outside. Everyone has an individual spray bottle now and a towel instead of like we used to have towels on the floor and we'd go around and change out the face cloths every couple hours. Now it's like everybody gets their own kit basically.
That's kind of smart. I kind of like that actually, really.
You get it's not bad at all. You get a bottle and a cloth. You go down the floor. You spend your whole workout with your same bottle and cloth. On the way out, your cloth goes in the wash or in the laundry. Your bottle will go in the return. That'll be disinfectant. Yeah. Set up for the next person, and we're going to. Or my idea was to use our bottles as our way of counting as well. So instead of having someone with a clicker, once our bottles are gone, once they're returned, we can count how many people. Cool. So
I knew you, man. You're the smartest business partner ever, dude. Just for the little things like that, dude. I'm telling you. We got a little Skippy Cohen dropped a comment here for us. I don't know if you know Skippy. Skippy's one of the guys who started supporting us way back in the day with Submission Series, man. He's based out in California.
We sell supplements. We could probably pull something.
You can call your gym a grocery store and sell some oranges to get around it. You definitely can.
I started selling hammers. We can have 400 people in there at once.
Well, we got a good episode, John, tonight. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors at Maritime Madness. Locally made, over 30 different sauces made in Prince Edward Island. Try them out. You can use the code FAL10, save 10%, and get free shipping anywhere in Canada. Pretty cool. MaritimeMadness.com.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Awesome.
Look.
It's very impressive. I got to say, what you've done with the setup and the way you're presenting the sponsors and the branding, it's very impressive, sir.
Yes.
Deep thought. Yeah.
Man, unemployment. Woohoo.
Nothing's by accident.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Well, we got a great show. Let's get right into it, John. Christian Edwards couldn't join us. We had some stream troubles at the beginning, so unfortunately he couldn't join us, folks. But we're going to get him on a different episode. We're going to move right into our second guest. Dylan James Bowker is his name. He's, I would call him a journalist, a commentator, an analyst, kind of a jack of all trades when it comes to the MMA game. Based out of Ontario, a guy who not only covers a lot of events, John, but he's also writing a book right now on the history of Canadian martial arts and in the scene of MMA and how it kind of started, the origins and people involved across the country. So one of those guys who's super knowledgeable and puts a hell of a lot of time into supporting different promotions across the country. And I don't know how you feel about it, but to me, I look at people like him as they're the kind of people you really have to give a lot of respect to because they're doing a lot of times working their ass off for free sometimes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Like
they're
the grassroots level,
the sport, right? and that they're part of it in however many ways they can be. And and the industry and the sport needs these people. These are the people pushing it and telling people about it and shining a good light on it and promoting. And yeah, it's awesome, man. I mean,
I agree. Yeah. He's a great guy. We had a cool couple conversations. So I guess as I always say, without further ado, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I'm saying it. Dylan, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Awesome, man. Good. Thanks for joining us, pal. How's things?
What's up, man?
Oh, it's going great. Yeah, I did a couple interviews for the Canadian MMA history book earlier today. Actually, I spoke to Jaron Villel and Rodrigo Mondaruca, so adding a couple more to it.
Wow. Okay. What's their story?
Well, I mean, Jaron Villel's an interesting guy. Like, he's done a lot of refereeing for a ton of regional shows out all throughout Canada, but also like with UFC and Bellator and a bunch of different promotions like that. Also fought a bit back in the day. And I mean, Rodrigo Mondaruca was like an OG, like one of the early, BJJ black belts to come to Canada and really put on for the, Manitoba scene overall. So great insights from both of those guys.
Very cool. Awesome, man. How long have you been working on this project?
Pretty much since the lockdown started. Like, I was trying to think of something that I could allocate my time to. And I'm like, oh, probably have a lot of time going forward with everything going on here. So, and this was an idea I'd wanted to kind of actualize into reality for a while now, and just kind of, seemed like a perfect storm with an imperfect situation, I guess.
Yeah, it's cool.
Absolutely. Sorry.
No, there's a little bit of feedback here. Sorry, a little bit with a delay here. John, you go ahead, man. I'll let you take it.
I was just agreeing with him. It's been a great opportunity to get some things done that just aren't going to happen otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, take advantage of it, man. Go ahead, Derek.
I was just, for me, like John was saying a second ago, like people like you, like, we're promoters. There's people who fight, but there's people like yourself who are kind of involved in every aspect of it, like in all facets of it, and kind of as a neutral party a lot of the time too. So it's an interesting kind of side of things, how to cover the sport and cover it in a neutral way. What got you into it?
Well, I think really early on for me, like I was initially like into pro wrestling and stuff like that. And then I found out kind of who Kazushi Sakuraba was through that. Like, they were referencing his work in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but then they were talking about this thing called MMA. And I'm like, oh, that's a curious thing. And then I started looking for that. Like, I was right into the whole, like, Mirko Cro Cop, Shogun Hua, Vanderlei Silva kind of era and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of people, I think, kind of have similar ways how they get into it, John?
Yeah, absolutely. I started watching the same. I mean, I'm guessing we're probably pretty close to the same age. So it was kind of those same guys back in the day when Pride was starting off and you started to get like DVDs and VHSs. I remember renting the UFC VHSs on hockey trips back in the day in St. John's with the boys. And yeah, man, pretty much. The legends, man. And the fact that some of these guys are still going. Like, I saw today Shogun and Nogueira are going to finish the trilogy. And Vanderlei got hit by a car on his bicycle.
Did he?
Yeah, we're out there for the Pride guys a little bit. But yeah, that was my thing that I really got into the sport with. And then obviously from there started, like, getting into different parts of the sport and stuff like that. And just, I guess, like, as far as like Canadian MMA focus, like it was probably like while I was in college, like I interviewed a lot of like the MFC guys and stuff like that, back when the promotion was going. And yeah, just since then kind of covered some different promotions in the Alberta area. I lived out there for 5 years. So yeah.
Nice.
Covered her all, man. Cool. Yeah, it's man, there's so much to cover, right? Like there's, especially out there out west, like it's interesting. I didn't know you spent a little bit of time out there. That's a pretty crazy scene out there, man.
Oh yeah, like there was such an active kind of province. Like you'd go to Lethbridge, and I checked out one of the Rumble in the Cage shows that Lee Meehan puts on, and covered a few unified MMA shows out in the Edmonton area, and XFFC in Grand Prairie, Alberta. Like I've done commentary for them, and just covered the events as like a media member too. So yeah, just a really rich scene out there for sure. Like it's one of the more lively kind of provinces for MMA.
It seems to be, right? Has anyone heard how Lee Meehan's gym reopening is going? I mean, he was quite outspoken in reopening. I haven't heard a follow-up. Has anyone heard how that's going, or if it is going?
I think it is going. I'm admittedly not sure as to like how it's been progressing, but I think that's very much something he's, I think, been wanting to do for a while, even prior to that. So I don't know. I admittedly don't know like what the status of it is, like how it's progressing and everything, but I think they're looking to keep going in that direction with it. Yeah.
No news is good news.
Yeah, exactly. I guess we would have heard of it by now if it.
Yeah, Havoc and Red Deer. I don't know if Havoc still going. They haven't ran a show in quite a few years.
They just kind of run shows infrequently. Like I think one of their last shows was December of last year, I want to say, but there's like a lot of gaps between shows. Like they seem to do like a show a year type of thing. Sometimes, like you said, they'll take like a couple of years off.
Nothing like consistency.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine trying to do a show every 2 years and kind of starting the ball rolling again. But I guess if you've been at it long enough, you probably have those connections and those guys.
Well, everybody does it for different reasons too, right? Like some
True
people
enough.
do it. Some people, like Tom Fiddler out there, like Tom's doing these events because he's a fan. Like, like he's a fan. Like it's not like us. Like it's different, right? Like it's a different thing, man. Like that's what you need, those people in the sport, though, big time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that's another promotion that's doing great stuff too. Like they bring in a lot of big outside names and stuff, and really put a spotlight on like the key sort of talent in Canada and like just the talent relative to that area. So yeah, another great promotion.
Yeah. Do you what do you think about BTC? Like you spent a little bit of time around them and Prospect both. Are you still working with them as well, or?
Yeah. I mean, I was at their last show they did in Kitchener, and thought it was a great time. Jesse Ronson getting the big win in the main event there, and it kind of reminds me of like what Score Fighting Series was doing. Like I guess both of those promotions kind of similar in that regard, just like really spotlighting like key Ontario talent, bringing in reputable outside names. Because I mean, as an Ontario lad myself, it's like the landscape for a while was just so dormant, and it's like you got to go so out of the way to get fights and cut your teeth. So yeah, great to see what they've been doing. Yeah, definitely follow what BTC is doing, and I collaborate with them a decent bit.
Yeah, you do.
Always nice to see a promotion doing well. So many of them seem to drop off, and I think we need more.
Yeah.
No one's insane enough to do it, though. That's the problem. You have to be you don't have to necessarily be involved in the sport. Like from a training perspective, you might have a son or a nephew or a friend who has a daughter or son that's involved in it that, oh yeah, I'll throw some money at it, whatever it happens to be. But you have to be willing to know, like, I'm probably not going to make money the first event for sure. It's a guarantee.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, you got to be willing. You got to love it enough to put some money where your mouth is. Essentially, nothing comes cheap.
No, that's true.
That's how she goes. Dylan, you're all kind of all over the landscape. What's are you happy doing everything, or is there something you prefer and are kind of looking to kind of branch more seriously into, or I shouldn't say more seriously, but maybe lean heavier into a certain direction, or what are you thinking? Kind of just enjoying the ride?
Yeah, well, that's kind of what led me to, I guess, doing what I'm doing right now is more of like a utility kind of guy. Because like I did a show for Excessive Force Fighting Championship in Grand Prairie. I did like the play-by-play commentary and stuff like that. And I was just kind of a kid at the time. Like I think I had this thought where I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be the guy. I'm going to do every show, this, that, and the other. And didn't necessarily pan out like that. Like I did end up doing some later work for them, but like, years after the fact. So to that point, I kind of was thinking, okay, well, I'm very much like having a narrow-minded focus on, I need to do this. I need to, be a commentator kind of thing. And then I started thinking, well, what other roles could I have in the sport? And then I started branching out into like, doing audio interviews, like video editing, and yeah, just trying to be that utility guy. Cause I think I realized I almost sort of needed to be in order to like gain the traction in MMA that I was looking to get.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not easy. It's hard. You got to hustle to get like, now myself, I deal with a lot of these messages. John doesn't. Next event, he's gonna.
We're gonna switch roles next time. Yeah.
Well, he's so busy with so many other things, right? And that's just how the how it shakes out, right? But
that's how we divide the workload in our relationship.
Exactly, right? Or moving forward. But it's amazing to see how many people reach out that do want to help, that are fans of the sport, that are like, hey man, like I'm a journalist or whatever it happens to be. It's really cool, and it's motivating because you're like, oh, okay, you're actually doing something, whether this person really thinks it's great or not, that you caught their eye, right? So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a great MMA community, which I've gotten to figure out just showing to the different shows and stuff like that. Like it's one of those like 6 degrees of separation type things. Like everyone kind of knows each other like a little bit, and really supportive, good, solid people.
Yeah, it is.
Couldn't agree more, man. It's been awesome being part of it for so long. Meet people all over the place, and you train wherever, and it's a lot of mutual respect. I think guys that are involved, they know what it takes, and they appreciate it when somebody else is going through it. And for a guy like yourself, you're part of it. People know who you are. They, I'm sure they're happy that you're providing exposure for the sport and helping, run the nuts and bolts of it. And like you said, video editing and things like this, like every promotion needs guys like this. Every gym needs guys like this. Like you guys are few and far between, but if you can get one or two of those guys in your circle, invaluable.
He reached out. I don't know when you reached out, Dylan, to us, but it was like as soon as we announced the event, I think you're like, hey, I'm in. You guys need anything? Like squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Hell yeah.
Well, I mean, just there's such a rich like regional MMA scene in Canada, and I love seeing like promotions pop up, and I was seeing what you guys were putting out there, and it looked like a very legit show, and it came off as such as well. And yeah, it was good getting to do some interviews ahead of that. Talk to Big Cat Jesse Arnett, one of my favorite guys to interview. So
guy's awesome. He'll just text you out of the blue. How you doing?
It was so funny. I want to fight. I'm looking to fight. It was. I'll never forget. So like again, we're the promoters or whatever, Dylan, but you're still nervous. You're still like, I'm like, we're not Dana White. We're just two dudes trying to do an event, right? So I'll never forget. And for me, like Jesse is a guy like both of us, or you, Dylan, you look at, you fight. He's like fought at a pretty high level, and you're a fan or whatever. So he was coming to the John. Remember the first day when he came out of the sauna, and he was like, he looked like absolutely terrible. He looked so bad because he just cut weight, obviously, to make weight. Yeah. And he came out, he's like, made weight. He's like, I got a pound, right? And he looked at me, and I was like, I'm the promoter, and I'm so nervous. I'm like, I don't know. It's like, what? I was like, just joking, man. Like, but he was just like,
guaranteed, if you were like, oh yeah, you're good, and then the next day, it'd be like,
oh man, he did. He was awesome to have. He's a hell of a guy, man. I again, like you said, Dylan, a great fan, man. Great big fan of that guy. What's what going back to the book? Where'd the idea come from? Like, I think it's a really fantastic idea, and it's very much needed, and I think it's going to go places. I really do.
Oh, I appreciate you saying that. I think, like, for me, like, there's been some semblance of like a historical account of like certain parts of the Canadian MMA scene, and certain people have done great work with that for sure, like spotlighting, like TKO, MFC, certain things like that. And I mean, that's definitely a part of the history, but I kind of wanted to have a more expansive, like cover the entirety of the country kind of a thing. So it just sort of led me in that direction. And yeah, I thought there was like rich, different pockets of MMA tucked all throughout the country. Some have like a more like established sort of history and lineage than others, but like some of the different provinces and territories that are kind of just getting into it, I find like the most intriguing almost, just because it's like on such a bare bones kind of level, like really getting going. Like, I mean, even doing like some of the stuff for like Northwest Territories MMA coverage, like they've really only been going for the last like few years, have had like a handful of events. So even stuff like that is kind of like fun to just like sink my teeth into and try to tell that story.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's me and Derek, I think, have talked about it. I've talked about it with people, just about the history of the jiu-jitsu in Nova Scotia. Just the jiu-jitsu in Nova Scotia. Never mind everything outside of it. I think we talked about it on the show even about how if you go around to the different clubs just in Nova Scotia, so-and-so's connected to this legend, so-and-so's connected to this legend, and it goes around and around.
Small world.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess on the East Coast too, though, like Nova Scotia was probably, I mean, we're definitely ahead of New Brunswick as far as mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu. Newfoundland's only now, like the last few years, they've started seeing guys showing up at our tournaments over here, but very young MMA
machine. You get Shane in New Brunswick, but
yeah, oh yeah, no, New Brunswick's grown a ton, but I just even when we started doing amateur MMA, like Moncton was behind Nova Scotia, or New Brunswick was behind Nova Scotia, right? Just the level of fighters, the gyms were just getting going, and then now Newfoundland's, again, probably. I don't know. I mean, I'll probably say it, and someone will be like, we've been doing it for 45 years, but it seems like it's only been the last probably 5 or 6 years they've really had gyms like fire up and start to build jiu-jitsu teams. PI is just small, but they've been doing it for a long time, and a ton of good guys come out of there.
I think for sure I think by far, by leaps and bounds, we've grown faster than anybody else in the province, or in the country. Like for real, you look at even like from Submission Series 2014 to now.
Yeah,
like, the level of jiu-jitsu has really been bananas. We got Anthony D'Alessio. This is my boy. I think he's from Ringside Fight Network, I believe. I don't know if you know him, Dylan. Dave Simon and the boys up there. We're rocking in them scene, but things have gone quite limp. You need some Viagra up there, Anthony.
It's the cure for Corona, I heard.
Yeah, no, but you got too many promoters up there talking shit about one another. That's the problem. It's plain and simple, right? And it's hopefully it'll fix itself, but it's sad because you got to get along, man. And that's why I figured ringsidereport.net. There you go. They do a lot of good shows covering a lot of different things too. But Dylan, I got a question for you. Did you come across any old school smokers, underground fights you felt were part of the history? Great question, Skippy.
Well, yeah, I've been digging into that with some people who were, kind of part of that in the early goings, like certain guys like Mike Miles, Caleb Starnes, Keith Crawford. Cool. Like some of the stories these guys have, it's like they're like in like a barn in BC and there's like a helicopter circling around and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, well, they can't get us because it's private land. Like all these like just wild kind of stories, you know what I mean? And it's great to have that documented in the book too. Like I think like a lot of those guys provided some really invaluable insights for me.
Well,
that's us in 3 months.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. Get the helicopters ready.
FLA 2 in a barn in Pictou.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
Don't tell anyone.
Whatever it takes. Me and Derek got to fight each other twice just to round out the card.
That's it. Enough rounds, sure. Whatever. Dad, Mom, jump in.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's cool, Dylan. That's Caleb Starnes. There's a name I haven't heard of. What was his kind of? Is that like he's a guy kind of told you stuff like that?
Yeah, he had some very interesting insights on just a lot of different aspects of his career. Like talked about like the smoker kind of stuff, and just like a really sharp kind of interesting guy. Like a lot of the questions I've asked to certain people is like, oh, do you view like your competition beyond like individual accomplishment? And it's kind of rooted in some sense of like patriotism kind of thing. And he was kind of like, oh no, I'm not one of those like paint my face, howl at the moon kind of like sports fan type of dudes. Just the candor in the answer I thought was like pretty funny. Like he was just very forthcoming with the whole thing, and just generally interesting guy to talk to.
I remember him from his stint in the UFC, and
that fight against Nate Marquardt, man.
Yeah, and I remember seeing Starnes fighting again in like a regional league after that, but I just kind of lost track of him.
He I think actually, correct me if I'm wrong. Well, I don't know if either one of you guys know or correct me, but Caleb, I believe, was supposed to fight Kyle Sanford at one point. Do you know that name, Dylan? He's an OG from out this way.
When were they supposed to fight?
I don't know. I could have made that up. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure. I don't know how I know that. I don't know if Kyle told me that or something, but anyway.
That wouldn't surprise me. Kyle's been around.
Well, Caleb was like all over the place. He was kind of like one of those like money weight kind of guys before that was a thing. Like he was competing like middleweight to heavyweight, like just all over the place.
I wonder, did Caleb fight out here in ECC at one point? He might have fought out here on ECC at one point. Let's
Jamie, bring that up.
All right, just give me a sec here. Oh, hold on, Joe.
I do have my phone here.
That's what we need to Jamie. What's his name? Caleb Starnes. So what's like the future of the book look like? Is it do you have an ETA?
Must be kind of early for that. Eh?
Yeah, like what's the whole plan with that?
Well, like the interviews have been coming in pretty steady. I'm looking to have something out there probably like end of summer, early part of fall type of thing.
Wow, that's
so pretty tentative timeline, but like looking to get it out there and just have it as like a multimedia kind of package, like have like an audio book portion, an ebook option, and then a tactile sort of option where there's like an actual physical copy of the book too.
And then you write the documentary.
Let me see here. Matt McGrath. He fought Matt McGrath.
How'd that one go?
No, that was Rec MMA. He beat McGrath.
Oh, wow. That's another guy, man. Matt McGrath went on a tear forever. Yeah. Won belts everywhere. How he didn't get called up to sit.
Did you ever get a hold of him, Dylan? You ever talk to him? He's a guy you should definitely talk to if you're talking about Canadian history MMA. Oh, we're losing you.
Did he mute his thing?
Did you mute your computer? Maybe just come out and come back in again, Dylan. How's that? Well, sometimes technology works, folks, beautifully. Sometimes it doesn't. You know, it is what it is. But the beauty of this is when the beauty of this is when you're an absolute professional podcast host that gets paid $- per month. Yeah, you're able to ad lib and fill time until
you can do whatever you want. Unlimited budget.
And when you're paying for the podcast, and no one's paying you, do whatever you want. Dylan, boy, welcome back, man. We got a couple minutes left. I don't know what the hell we were talking about. Got another question here for you. What name came up again and again that surprised you in the book or in
good
MMA?
Question. Fuck, still can't hear him. Sorry, Dylan.
You talk, and I'm gonna talk. You mouth it, and I'll talk.
Write it out. Hold up the piece of paper, and then we'll do like one of those viral videos.
Right. Well, we'll get you back on here in a couple minutes, Dylan. We'll try you again later on in a few minutes, but there you have it, folks. Dylan Bowker, a super great guy. Give him a follow on all social media networks. Dylan James Bowker. We'll get him on again before the end of the show if we can get him back. Sorry for the audio issues. John, thanks, Dylan, very much. What a sweet guy.
Yeah, super nice guy. I think we're gonna hear from him again. Absolutely.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. He'll be out here covering our events, I hope, in the future.
Yeah, man, that's what I mean. He seems like the kind of guy we're gonna end up working with inevitably at some point.
I think.
Hopefully.
So. Hopefully, that's right.
Yeah, man.
If he can get his damn mic working. All right, let's get into our second guests of the night.
All right, let's do it.
Two people that obviously we know, Brad and Taralynne Sullivan. Okay, so these two, John, obviously Brad's a professional MMA fighter, his wife. They have two young kids. I'm super impressed with them because over this whole entire quarantine COVID thing, they've really stepped up, man, and they've kind of become like influencers almost in this Arbonne game. I could tell with Brad, I didn't know what was going on, but I could tell like in his posts, like he he was like becoming gleaming. Like his face was like his skin. I was texting him like, what the hell are you taking, man? He's like, oh, it's Arbonne. And then now he's like all over it, and he looks like delicious almost. His skin looks great. They look fantastic, and they're doing a really good job, man. So I wanted to kind of bring them on, and it's not easy. You know all about it with 2 kids during all this kind of stuff. It's not easy, man. So
I do.
Yeah.
I know about MLM, so I'm interested to hear what they have to say.
Yeah, well, they're both doing it, himself and Taralynne. They both really become great ambassadors for it. So let's bring them in without further ado. The criminal MMA and his wife, Taralynne.
And his wife. And his wife.
The
That's
criminal.
one of our podcast potential titles, actually.
Yes.
The criminal and his wife.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
That's right. I forgot to announce as well. You're the host of the Total Transparency podcast as well.
Yes, we are. And you know what? We have a super interesting episode that's coming up that I think will be really relevant to the FLA crowd as well.
Nice.
We had David Leduc on, left-weight champion.
Yeah, we know who he is.
2-division champion right now, and what a humble human being.
Very
I had
cool.
the privilege of meeting with him in an airport, actually, after I fought his good friend Matthew Charette there last year this time, actually. Me and him, I didn't know who he was at the time, like I'll admit it, but we ended up grappling in the airport. Scott was like, yeah, that's like he, of course, anybody who knows me knows that I'm just like that anyways, right? Trying to get this camera so it's positioned.
Oh, perfect. You look good.
Yeah, so anybody that kind of knows me knows I'm just like on the fly like that. That's just who I am, right? So we were in the airport, and we're there. It's me, Scott McLean, my coach, and Robin Black, right? He's the, he's commentator all over the place, Bellator commentator, everything, right? So we're all chatting, and I'm ashamed to admit it now, but I didn't know who Dave Leduc was, right? So and Scott tells me, he's like, this guy, if you are in a bar fight, he's probably the scariest man on the planet. I was like, okay. So, whatever. Scott tells me, and I give the man respect immediately anyways because of that, because I respect Scott's opinion. But we get up, and man, we're and I just had a war. I don't know if you watched that fight, but like I just had a war. That was an amazing fight, right? Like we went all 15 minutes and banged it out the whole time, right? So he's like showing me how to use my head. He's like, I think you'd really benefit from using your head in the clench like this, and he's pushing on my head, and I'm like, man, I appreciate it, but this is really fucking hurting right now. Yeah.
Thanks for the advice, but can we do this tomorrow, please?
So in saying that, it'll be super relevant to all the people that are watching this right now. So I'll tag you guys in that so that your followers can come and watch that. His story is incredible, right? It's nuts. It's crazier than I ever could have thought. You guys would definitely do benefit to bring him on to your show for sure, right?
And I was not excited for that podcast. I did not want to do it. So I was like, oh, it's another fight here. I don't want to do this. And it was probably one of the coolest conversations we've had. I loved it.
Probably nothing about fighting, eh? Like
I know it was about fighting, but it was just like brand new information for me. Like I had never heard of this. The headbutting freaked me out.
Yeah.
So
he was saying he wants to do it.
Absolutely.
Like, no.
So like, just
absolutely
digress a little bit, yada, yada, yada. I'm going over to Myanmar to fight some left leg. No big deal, right?
Wow.
So, we'll
have to get you a fight with FLA first.
Yeah,
that's right.
On that card instead.
No, I fully plan on coming there and just putting on a show for you guys. That is something that I plan on doing. Whoever it is.
Yep.
Yeah, man, we want to make that happen. Yeah, absolutely. And it's for the left way thing. Do it once. Do it once, man.
From the last one, I know you were upset when it didn't happen last time.
I was.
I know you were both kind of upset, but through no doing of my own, I was ready to fight.
Yep.
But the fight just did not happen.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
No shit talking. It is what it is. It's happening now. I could not be happier.
Nice.
I will be biting, scratching, and kicking to make sure that I win. I don't give a fuck. No,
it's a fantastic matchup, man. I really hope this gets to happen this year.
It has to. There's no.
It has to. I know. We're gonna do the barn in the middle of nowhere.
Like as long as you tell me and I can get my cardio up, then Yeah, man, I don't care. Like, let's do anything. I don't care, right? Like, left weight fight. Let's do that.
Man, do it once, right? Do one left weight fight.
We'll be lucky to get away with a goddamn MMA fight with the commission after this kind of stuff.
You know how Hubert is, anyways, right? But yeah, you guys seeing what's going on with the gyms now? Obviously, you know, you guys, John, you own your own gym, anyways. But yeah, I know that it's kind of like boxer size is what they're asking us to do now, and like
6 feet apart. Just it's stupid.
God forbid you learn how to protect yourself, but you can go eat lots of chips.
You know what the problem is? This pandemic has made people even softer, and it's going to implement weird rules that don't make sense when people really need to focus on nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's a great segue into what I've been doing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fucking use it. So that is completely why I took this time off, to make sure that I was doing something positive with my life, right? Because people need to target inflammation. They need to target gut problems. They don't need to sit there and wash their hands so much and like get rid of the good bacteria so much on their hands that they're getting warts on their hands now because they have no bacteria.
Yeah.
That's not what this should be. This should be a time for people to really understand that you need to have good health. You need to have good nutrition. Your gut needs to be protected. Your digestion needs to be something that you focus on, right? And that is why my skin is fucking gleaming and glowing through this pandemic. You know, but,
I noticed it.
You know what? A lot of people actually said that to me, and that was something that I really I took to heart and I ran with. You know what? And I'm happy that I did.
Yeah, of course.
Because I know that you know, a lot of people look at Arbonne, they say it's a very, you know, an MLM anyways. Network marketing is a very female-dominated type of market. But you know what that does for me? I'm a fucking trailblazer in this market. Yeah. That gives me motivation. That gives me the edge because I get to swoop in under the radar.
Oh, we're doing it together. We're doing it together.
That's what he tells you. Yes, honey, we're doing it together.
See, that's the flow that we have.
I trailed it. Two of us. I started, and then
I love this.
But no, we're tackling it together.
See, she reached out to us and said she was the boss. So I don't know.
Hey, I think that's the truth in anybody's relationship, whether you want to agree with it or not.
Yeah.
Or actually, you know, let it be known. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Right? So I just put it out there that she's my boss and she keeps me in line. Right. So what else is there to it?
That's right. I got to tell you guys, I watch your stories, both your stories pretty much every day. And I think it's absolutely, even little things that you guys do, like the green juice chug in the morning, like it's 10 seconds of laughter. It's good vibes. It's positive vibes. You're doing something healthy. I think it's great. I really do. Like it's, I don't know, like for me to have 2 kids and to do all this, it's not an easy, like I have no kids and I could not do that. So it's impressive.
I think that people look at stuff and they think to themselves, oh, I don't have the time to do that.
Yeah.
But then once you start diving into it, like, for example, you know, no timelines or anything, but last month we both decided to go hard. She was the top independent consultant for, what was it, for like dollar amount or whatever? Or
the highest sales volume.
Highest sales volume last month.
Like our organization is the largest in Canada. Obviously, there's other organizations, but I had the highest sales volume within our organization for my rank.
Yeah, and I had the highest sponsoring, meaning I brought on the most people in the whole nation for that, right? And I think that people think that, oh, I'm too busy. You know what? Once you get out of your own way and you realize that you're too busy not to do it, because something like this, if you're willing to put in the work, you're willing to put the time in, then it gives you that benefit to be able to have a little bit more flexibility to spend the time that you do have with the people that you care about the most. And I think that is what's so important. And people kind of miss that in all of this nonsense that's going on. Like well said. If people have an 8 to 5 grind, I don't know anybody that looks at me in the face and says, you know what? I fucking love it. Right?
Yeah.
I'm yet to meet that person. If you show me that person, I'm going to slap him and tell him you're a fucking liar, right? Don't lie to my face.
It's true, man. It's true, though. Like, oh, I can't wait to go to the bank. No, not true.
Exactly, man. Like, this is I'm happy you're getting a good laugh out of this, my brother. I really am. But, and that's what I get to do all day. I get to talk to people, and it's created such a positive vibe in our host. Like, we're sending voice notes to each other, coaching each other on positivity, on bringing to our team that we're making. And this is a team that we get to create ourselves. Yeah. Like, if someone comes and I have a conversation with them and they are not who I want on my team, well, then I cancel that conversation and I move on. Right? Because it's not just about that. I'm sure everybody that works with people, they're like, I don't like this person.
No, that's true.
But you know what? If I think in the first 30 seconds that I don't like you, then I'm not going to continue the conversation and we're going to move on.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you can be your own boss. It gives you that versatility, I guess.
Yeah.
BYOB. You know what I'm saying? Be your own boss, baby.
I hear you.
Once quarantine happened and Brad was home essentially 24/7, I think most people were like, "Oh my God, hate this." But for us, it was like the total opposite.
Yeah.
And we were just like,
"Oh
my God,
turned it off."
I have the opportunity to bring him home and have him be with me raising our kids. And I mean, he got to see our son's first steps.
Yeah.
Whereas like that would not have happened if he was doing his normal 9 to 5, which he still is. Like, he's still working his other companies, but you know, having this platform, this opportunity for me to essentially retire him is just like mind blowing.
Yeah, no, and it goes both ways, right? It's like I'm appreciating a lot of things a lot more, because once you get into that culture and it's so positive, it's not just me and her. There's a whole community of people that are so positive, and there's so much resources that you just constantly. Man, it's all right there for you. And anybody that's a laborer like myself, like I own an asbestos and demolition company. Let me tell you about, negativity, like, you're smashing shit because you work.
Hard work.
Man, and that's it, right? But when you've got these people that are telling you this positive stuff all the time, I had to take a step back. So it took me about a week to actually really get into it, because I was like, man, get the fuck out of here. Like, you can't be that positive all the time and be serious, but they are. Because it just breeds that into your life, and every day it's amazing, right? Not just even the product, but just the community itself,
even that,
right?
Like, he saw me doing it for, I don't know, maybe it was like 3 weeks or so before you jumped in.
Yeah.
And so I mean, he witnessed it sort of just like a fly on the wall, and then was like, well, I want it. That looks like fun.
Well, that's it, right?
So how did you get involved in the first place, and why did you guys choose Arbonne? I mean, there's tons of these companies out there that you can be involved in.
Yeah, so
great question.
I actually have past network marketing experience with a different company, and as I got into it, and this was actually a couple years ago, it wasn't recent, and there was so many things that sort of came up that just gave me such an icky feeling, which I think happens with a lot of network marketing companies, and even just for like your consumers. Like, there's a lot of things that even people buying the products, like they kind of get like caught and like they catch you and like weird things happen. And so that was happening with my past company. So when I got pregnant with Jax, I was like, you know what, this is a good time to stop. I'm pregnant, I can do other things, and like I got out of it. So when Arbonne sort of came around, a really good friend of mine from years ago had been doing it for about a year, and she reached out to me, and I was, like hard no, like nope, did it, no thanks, not for me. And then she just sort of took the time to educate me on Arbonne as a company, the products, how there is none of the icky network marketing things within the company. And I still, I was the most hesitant person. I didn't want to do it, but oddly enough, I kept mentioning it to Brad, and I was like, yeah, so like Aslan's doing Arbonne, and I would just kind of bring it up, and he's like, if you want to do it, just like go do it. But the big deciding factor for Arbonne specifically for us was I have celiac disease. So all of the products are certified gluten-free. So he was doing the grocery shopping at the start of quarantine, and he comes home and he was like, oh my God. He's like, this is so annoying. I have to read every single label. And I was like, yeah, you do. Like, that's my life now. He had no idea.
I don't like to read.
Start with your alphabet. Start with small words.
So when I was like, yeah, Mom, like everything's gluten free, and I mean, we were already using protein powders, we were using greens powders, we were using skincare, body wash, all the things, but we had to read labels and we had to be cautious, and we mostly lead a plant-based lifestyle, and with all the products being certified vegan, certified gluten free, no cruelty, non-GMO, all the good stuff that you want in a product, the products fit really well in our life. And then just once we learned about the culture, it was like the place for us to be. And
the money. All right. Once we start,
let's be honest. Why are you really working?
I felt like the Italian mafia. I was like, once you get your money, actually, that's Cuban. Get your money.
It's the Cuban Italian mafia.
But we looked at it like, at the end of the day, the worst thing that could happen was we just use these amazing products.
Yeah.
That was essentially all that we would be out if this quote unquote didn't work. But I mean, there's just like the common icky things that people are like hard no on network marketing. There's no auto ship, which is amazing for your consumer because people do not want multiple credit card charges.
Yeah.
It ships right to your door, which is great, but there's no monthly fees as a consultant, and there's no monthly minimum that you have to spend as a consultant. So a lot of times kind of stuck in these traps where they need to buy so much product to even maintain their consultant status. That doesn't exist in Arbonne. You could do nothing. You could buy not a single thing and you can still be a consultant and sell the products and make money. Like it has no effect on you whether you're using it or not. But obviously as a consultant, you want to use your products. That way you can talk to people. But it doesn't say we're like fully stocked. Like right now we are fully stocked. There's not a thing that we need to buy right now. And we are still going to get our checks as we sell products. Like it has no effect.
We have carbonized our house. As they say, all right, you know what? And that's the thing. You got to be a product of the product.
Yeah.
If you want something, you guys.
Did you do something to your mic?
What?
Is your mic? Is there something on your mic there? It's a little fuzzy on your mic there. All of a sudden.
Is that better?
Yeah, it might be. I don't know.
We'll try it out.
Give her a bunch.
No, your shit's all fucked up too.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a lot of people online right now.
That's what it is. You guys are just booming right now. Everybody's coming on, right?
No, not on our site. In general.
In general. Yeah, just suck it up bandwidth, bro.
You know, those 8 people watching.
Download the shit illegally.
So,
Man.
keep going. Sorry to interrupt you, Brad.
What's that?
You were going. You were talking about like urbanizing your house, I guess.
No, and that's the thing, man. Honestly, dude. And what I was getting to was, you have to brand your own self, though. And this is something that I've
No, you're asking about what is urbanizing your home.
Oh, okay. So yeah, but when I said urbanizing, it's just it's the same thing as what you guys got going on with your FLA. I'm sure you have FLA all over your house. You wear the shirts, you got the hats, you probably have whatever it is. You have FLA because that is your brand that you've created, right? So we've urbanized our house in the sense that everything that we needed, as it's coming up, there's toothpaste, there's deodorant, there's shampoo, there's face wash, there's all this stuff. So be a product of the product. If you want to understand and have people really, truly respect your opinion, you must make sure that you have a proper opinion to put out. Because how can you tell someone to do something if you're not willing to do it themselves? Do it yourself, right? If you're
buy into it,
you can't lead from behind, right? So you have to lead from up front.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. But what I think that a lot of people struggle with in network marketing in general, and I did myself, is that you start being a billboard for someone else.
Yeah.
Right? You have to find a way to make yourself specialized. And since the last couple of days, I started doing those daily training videos. I've had almost 1,000 views on my videos once I went back to that, because people buy you originally. They trust you. They buy you for you. Like, you wanted to check out some greens, and I've been in contact with a few gym owners and said, this is a fantastic product for you to put into your gym. People can use there's a whole nutrition and diet plan set up. So it's a great thing for people to have in their gym, right? People listen to me for me. They didn't listen to me because I said this is Arbonne. They listened to it because it's me. So once I got back to the fact of knowing that I have to create my own brand and Arbonne is the platform behind me, well, the things are just going a lot better that way. Right?
Makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, you bought into it, man. It goes a long way, both of you guys. But that's what I think is even cooler about it, because you're both into it. Like it's I've kind of watched the journey, so it's kind of cool. Like for me to see it's paid off, right? And you just never know where weird things in life can take you.
Yeah, and that was something we noticed too. Is there's not first of all, there's not a lot of men in our bond, but there's very few sort of like partnerships and like married folks that do it. There are a few that we found, but it's very rare. And we found that just that alone is sort of like setting us apart from other people. We noticed like at first when his skin started looking incredible, like right when he started using the product, everyone was saying like, bro, like what are you using? Like what is this? And he's like, oh, it's Arbonne, like message Taralynne, I'll hook you up.
What are you using, bro?
That extra step and like message me even though they know me. So we were like, oh, well, even if it's just for your friends to buy from you. But then he got into it and people loved the fact that we were doing it together. And that like everything like I don't want to say the word interview, but like even like folks like people that we're talking to bring onto the team, we do it together.
Nice.
We don't do like your teammates or those are my teammates. Like it's all like two of us together just doing it, and it's
Family.
fun.
Yeah.
Family bond. Even the kids are involved. Sorry about our audio issues here, folks. I'm not sure what's going on. We were having a little trouble earlier getting the stream to work, so my apologies. Not sure what's going on, but go to hell, internet. We don't like you tonight. Anyway, yeah, we're not having too much luck here, folks. But I want to thank you guys for joining us, Brad and Taralynne. If you want to drop some information where they can find you online.
Yeah. Hey, that's probably it for the night, though, man. My phone's, you guys sound as bad as I'm sure I sound on your end.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
But it's always a pleasure for us to come chat with you. If you guys want to run it back again, we can do a rematch. It's all good. 2-1-2, right?
We'll do that. Perfect.
No,
Awesome.
I appreciate you guys' time, man. And yeah, look forward to chatting with you guys again in the future. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you guys.
There you go,
Good luck
folks.
with everything.
Get at them, the Criminal MMA and Life of Taralynne on Instagram. Get at them, support their program. They're a great family and great local people. Lots of love to you guys. Thanks so much for doing this. There you go, folks. That was awesome. Sorry about the audio issues there. I'm not sure what happened there, John, but anyway.
It just sounds like a
Can't
bandwidth
beat the internet
issue.
sometimes.
And we got 3 people in Nova Scotia, different places.
And what? Boom.
About 2 weeks ago, I stayed around.
See if we can get boom on our stream.
I kept my weight in check. Especially to make 145. I was just like, I want to stay within range to make the weight cut easier. The whole point at 145.
Be pretty funny. Anyway, you want to pick a couple fights here, John? We're waiting here for our third guest of the night, folks, to join us. Actor from the second hottest rated TV show on Netflix at the moment, Ozark.
Man.
Kevin L. Johnson. He plays Sam Dermody, the real estate agent on the show. Pretty cool.
It's very cool, man. I'm a fan of the show. I mean, as soon as season 3 came out there a few weeks ago, I watched it all very quickly. So I'm,
What do you think?
It's amazing. I can't wait for next season. I blew through it so fast, though. It's been a few weeks, but,
Well, you're going to have to carry this one because I haven't got to season 2
yeah,
yet.
I've seen it all. We binged it. As soon as Ozark comes out, we're all over it, man. And it's definitely one of our favorites. And
yeah, it's a cool show.
It's killer. It's a wicked show. Like when season 4 comes out, we'll be all over it. First day it comes out, I guarantee.
Yeah, he just texted.
And they always leave you with such a fucking cliffhanger, man. It's like, maybe Kevin knows something we don't. Maybe we can get him to slip.
Maybe, man. We'll see. He just texted me. His food was running late, so he said, "I'm just going to throw my food in the fridge." And I said, "No, man, not a chance. Eat your food, and then we'll delay." That's our job as professional amateurs on podcasts.
As amateur internet show talk show hosts. There we go. Boom.
Anthony, you're a huge Ozark fan. Nice, man. You correct me if I'm wrong, Anthony. Do you guys do a show every day They have like 3 or 4 shows. I don't know if they see. We run our program, Anthony. We run off a different stream unit, but like you guys, I think are using OBX or something that, like that's what we'll eventually switch to, John. But right now, the way we're doing it, but they have a beautiful podcast. Ringside.
Hey man, I gotta say, all the things you've done with the logos and Anthony's questions popping up and the scrolling, I think it's all fantastic. I think it's great. And the intro's killer. The intros kick ass. So it's just been improve. Like you've taken this a long ways in a couple months, man.
Thank you, man. And hopefully we can improve and get better hosts.
Once we replace ourselves, it's gonna be off, man. Like
shout out to the call me daddy girls. If you guys are looking for a new job out of getting out of that Barstool, we should start a feud with Barstool.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Us, Ringside Report versus Barstool. What do you think, Anthony? You want to go through the fights here, John?
Yeah, sure, man. I haven't even seen any of them. All I saw was who and Nogueira was lined up against each other. And other than that, man, I have been balls to the wall, getting shit done.
Building. What kind of house are you building now?
Right now, I'm finishing the run for my chicken coop, getting the gym reopened. I just finished up that 1.5 story. So, yeah, man.
Never ends for John Foster, folks.
But yeah, I'm always looking for another project.
I can't even find the damn card. Tells you how much I know. I'll have to go to UFC online, I guess. UFC.com. I don't know, man. You see, it's on Ringside versus Barstool. I agree. So, read more.
I got my chickens, man. Did I tell you that? I got my chickens about a week ago. They're in their coop now. They're an interesting animal, man.
Yeah? What do they do?
Not much. They kind of just fuck around inside all day, but I left their door open. And I don't have the run built yet, so I don't I just let them go out in the yard. But what they'll do is they'll come outside after the door's been open for 12 hours. They'll come outside at like 8:30 p.m. and they'll just screw around the yard for a little bit up by their house, and then they'll go back in at like 9:30 before dark. No eggs yet, but I suspect we'll start getting eggs any day soon. Yeah, they're really like.
How does that work? Are they just like? Is there a time? How does the time like eggs work? Like you just?
It's usually around 18 weeks. So when we get them, ours are supposed to be 18 to 20 weeks now. I'm guessing they're maybe 18 weeks, and now they'd be like 19. So yeah, we should start getting eggs soon. But you know, they're easy, man. So far they're super easy, and like I started just letting them out. Like my parents have had chickens and have chickens, right? So I just been leaving the door open so they can free range run around. But they sit inside all day with the door open. They stick their head out every now and then. They go back in, and then like an hour before dark, they'll get outside. And then, of course, first time this happens, and the second time, I'm like, oh, fuck, we're losing the chicken today, right? Like, it's dark in 30 minutes. I've got, I put hunting cams around the house. We've got coyotes and bobcats and everything. I could throw rocks at where these things are behind our house, right? So, but no, they go right back in right before dark on their own. Just dodge back into the house and the door. And
smart chickens.
Crazy.
How many?
Just 5.
Just 5.
Yeah.
Any names? Did you name one after me?
No, I haven't named. Yeah, I've got John McSween. I've got Chad. I've got Derek. they're all you and your names.
Don't forget John Sween Mac.
John McSween and John Sween Mac. Yeah.
That's when
those two are twins.
When you were commentating that grappling event we did, and you're like, yeah, I don't know what his name is. Is it Derek or Cat? Fucking John McSween. I don't know what his name is.
Take your pick, people.
The reason I did that is because back in the day with all those grappling events, I had Messenger on my phone. So my phone would be and not because it's me. It's just because no one else, like when you're, you know what these events are like. It's hard
to contact
duty on to somebody. Yeah. Right? Because it just, anyway, that's why. So eventually, like I got sick of people messaging me who were like coming to the event and they're like, where do I get a ticket? Like, fuck, man, what? Walk to the door, man. I don't even want you there if you have to text me asking where. For real. Stay home.
Inevitable, bro.
Yeah. Well, that's it. So that's where that ever came from. But anyway.
Trying to stay incognito.
Yeah, man. Yes. What do you think of Nunes and Spencer?
Jesus, man.
She's Canadian. That's Spencer, I guess.
I think anyone in Nunez fights is going to lose probably for a while.
Yeah.
Interdivision, you know.
She's a bad chick.
I don't know. I don't really know much about Angela Spencer, to be honest with you, but I know Nunez.
Her name's Felicia. That's probably
Felicia, sorry.
I love that. I don't even know her name. So whatever.
Yeah, the other Spencer. So anyway, that's right. I think Nunez is going to win.
All right. Cody Garbrandt, Rafael Asunzo.
Ooh, that's tough. I'd like to see Garbrandt come back and go for another run, man. I always like that guy.
Me too. And man, it's funny because you look at the whole TJ situation with the steroids, man. Like he called it from the very beginning, like with their fight and stuff. Yeah. It's got to be so
guys in the gym know, man. And it must just kill him to have to deal with that.
Oh, 2 losses?
And to talk so much shit and then get put down by him, like that's got to hurt the worst, right? So,
it's funny because, like, to me, it's such bullshit. Like that loss should be overturned. Like it's
there's on drugs, yeah.
Like
everything be a no contest now.
It should be no question.
Or anything that can be proven, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, man. They took his titles away, suspended him for 2 years. Why does Cody have to have those losses on his record? So I look at it, but anyway, folks, just before we get in here with our last guest, episode 67 is powered by Maritime Madness. MaritimeMadness.com. Use the code FLA10, and you can get 10% and free shipping across Canada. Yeah, sorry for that little pitch. Had to throw that in there. Guaranteed.
Hey, man, it's all good.
3 times per episode. 3 times.
There you go. Maritime Madness. FLA10. Huh?
Yeah.
Bonus ones we're throwing out there now.
Get sauced. See this shirt?
Yeah. I see it. Very clever.
Yeah, they're good, man. We'll have to get you one of these. We're gonna send these out to some of our guests in the future. This is
I think you need to start taking one with our guests every episode, like we talked about. You'll build up a tolerance. One of us has to do it.
I'm looking at it. Like I'm looking at it and sweating.
I'll see if one of my kids will eat it, and then I'll see how that goes.
I don't know if that's safe. Peanuts, real butter.
Are you kidding me?
Peanuts, real butter, and Carolina Reapers all in one bite with ghost peppers to top it off.
Sweet, yeah.
I know Rob Logan.
I ate a hot pepper at a party once. That was a terrible idea.
Did you? What kind?
Yeah. I don't even know. Some guy. This is just being stupid, right? This guy's at a party with a little Tupperware container. Says, "I bet you can't fucking dip your finger in that and eat it. It's super hot." So like, of course I can. Boom, right? So my buddy does it. A few of us do it like idiots, right?
Yeah.
Drinking, and then the next thing you know, we're like pounding frozen hot dog buns out of the freezer and whatever we can like eat to take the pain away. It was terrible. And then I remember the next day, like, I would have washed my hands like 20 times at this point. I rubbed my eye started burning, because my finger touched it. Like, that shit's incredible.
Yeah, it really. They have like not just hot sauces. They have like all kinds of different stuff. Like this is that's a. They have like 30 different kinds. This is a jalapeno apple.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, jalapeno is a good level.
Yeah, that's a good one. But they don't just have that. They have like I don't want to knock down my whole display. Some brittle. They got jerky. They got everything you can imagine, man. So
Rob Logan. Awesome.
Yeah, when I meet up with you Monday, we got to get you some of this stuff.
Hell yeah, man.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Shy Awkward Guy for the video. Did you see that, John?
No.
Do you know who Shy Awkward Guy is? All right, let's just play it. I'll play it on here. So Shy Awkward Guy is this guy online. He's absolutely hilarious, man. He's so funny. Anyway, check this out.
Evan and Danny, you're doing some great work at the Fight League Atlantic Mixed Martial Arts. Behind the scenes, promotion and podcasts. Hell yeah. That's right. Gotta give it your all every single day.
This guy's the most chill guy, eh?
So it's gonna be Friday in a couple days. Maybe get a barbecue chicken pizza. Celebrate a good week.
Hell yeah. Nice. That guy's amazing. Where is he? I mean, obviously he's out of like Britain or somewhere, is he?
No, he's from like Ohio.
What?
Yeah, he's from Ohio. That's his whole thing. He's shy, awkward guy on Instagram. He's got like 130,000 followers by just eating barbecue chicken pizza and saying hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, oh man. So I was like, hey, can you send this message to my buddies here?
What a chill character, man.
Oh, dude, so funny. So funny. Give him a follow, shy, awkward guy. Yeah. Anyway, so I don't know how late all right, here. I'm just waiting for Kevin to I don't want to be hard on him, but he had some food getting delivered and he was going to eat it or put it in the fridge. I said, man, just eat it. He was going to put it in the fridge and jump on. He was so nice, but I said, no, just eat it. But now he might have, I don't know. Who knows? I think he's good to go here in a second, though. Ozark. We're going to welcome our final guest of the evening, folks. Kevin L. Johnson from Ozark, the series' second most watched, I don't know if that's right, second most popular episode on Netflix.
I do like that ranking thing they have on Netflix now, though, when you can go on and see what's running number 1, number 2 in the country or whatever.
Okay.
It's a good way to find new shit to watch.
Do you know what they are right now? What
no.
Ozark is? No. I mean, he said I'll be done in just a bit.
What's a bit?
I don't know. I guess maybe I will be eating this on
do it right now and then do the interview with it in your mouth. Come on now.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there slobbering on yourself and crying. Trying to do an interview.
Anybody watching here, look what we're going to have to give out in the near little future. These are we're going to call them
we're going to grind the top off and make throwing stars out of them.
Yeah, ninja stars. Look how thick.
Yeah, take a head right off. One throw.
They're heavy.
Yeah.
So this is they're called Sub-Series and FLA coasters.
Whoa.
Limited edition. Super limited edition.
It's super rare, super expensive.
Completely made of steel.
It's gold.
100% made.
24 karat.
24. Well, this one's bronze.
We'll give the bronze one away for $200, and the gold one's going to be, how many ounces are in that?
At least $30,000.
Yeah.
24. This is right from Dubai.
Perfect. We still got our channels open during COVID. We've been shipping these in custom, and yeah.
So if anybody wants one, shoot us an email. We can, man, that right there to get that off the top is a good 7 to 10 days to do that and ship it to you.
We have a welding shop that's going to do it for $80 each. So
you get a free one chunk challenge with every purchase.
Boom. Yeah,
$500 and more.
The only trick is you got to eat it live on Facebook.
So make sure you post your questions here, folks. When Kevin joins us, you can drop your questions about Ozark. You can drop them now if you like. Yeah, because basically we have nothing else to talk about until he comes on here. So,
and not just Ozark. I mean, he's been in some big movies as well. I mean, he was in American Made with Tom Cruise, and he did Prisoners with Jake Gyllenhaal, and
some other.
Last year there was another fairly large one. Anyway, this is a guy that's been around the game for a while, and I'm interested to hear what it's like rubbing shoulders with some of these guys that
or rubbing something else.
Oh, hey man, it's a difficult industry to break into, right?
Certainly is, bud. Certainly, especially weird.
You know all about it. Let's. What was your first big cameo, Derek?
It was Plowboy.
Plowboy and Queer as Folk.
It was the Plowboy.
Yeah, did that one, and then that launched you into, what was it, Blue Haze or something like that?
No, Shades of Blue. Come on.
Shades of Blue.
Get it right. It was, the thing is, man, that my first big break, I'll tell you the truth. It was this independent short.
I think I know where that was going.
I did a couple random, I don't even know how I got into this, legit. I think back at it now, and my parents must have legit been like, how do we just hit backspace?
Yeah. control his head.
Yeah, like what are you thinking? Like you have no acting skills at all. Like what are you thinking that anyway? But you just go and you do it. And I remember like going into this little school, and I'll never forget. And they're like, "Yeah, short film," and they auditioned. And it was all about smoking weed or whatever. And there was 4 guys sitting in a room, like, and it's like a 6-minute short film. And like here I am sitting there thinking like I'm actually like knowing what I'm doing. Legit, never read a line, never took an acting class, never did anything in my life.
Acting's one of those things though that people seem to think they can do. Acting and fighting, it's a skill that needs to be practiced and learned.
Fine, man. Like,
and everyone I think thinks they can act, probably sing and fight. Things, right? Yeah.
Well, I learned really quickly that I was the shittiest actor on a shitty 6-minute short film for students. That's how bad I was.
But the rest of them were just really good.
Look at them now. Those were the days.
Your classmates, Martin Short and Jim Carrey and guys that launched out of Canada.
Okay, I just said you just.
How are we looking?
I think he's just finishing up there. I'm not sure what he's having for lunch or dinner, but he's in Atlanta, Georgia. He's down in Georgia.
Oh wow, okay.
So he's down in that part of the world. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to chat with him. I'm kind of excited to see what he has to say, man. I'll let you handle this interview, John, if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all. I'm interested to hear how it's like breaking into that industry. I mean, it's got to be one of the hardest industries to break into as a professional, right? Like, I remember growing up making short films with my brothers and my friends and stuff, man. We were right into it. Loved it.
Did you have clothes on?
Oh, yeah. Partially.
Yeah. These ones, like,
that's right. Oh, yeah. Lots of stupid shit. But yeah, tons of fun, man. And I remember wanting to, just make movies and do all that. But
I'm interested to talk to him about like how he kind of got started in this industry. Like how do you, like there's so much rejection that comes in that. Like that's the difference between like this industry and like especially when it comes to fighting. Like you don't get rejected too much in fighting. Like unless you're
as a fighter, you can fight your way up. It doesn't matter who you are. If you work your ass off in the gym and you're smart and you're tough, then you can fucking fight. That doesn't mean you're going to be successful as an actor, because if you don't know the right person or you twist someone the wrong way, or they just, the other 7,000 people trying to get the toothpaste commercial, it's tough.
Yeah. Man, I'll never forget. I had that toothpaste commercial too.
Did you?
No. I had a Visa commercial though once.
There you go.
Yeah.
How'd that work out? They give you a free Visa?
Do you know who, I don't know if you know the girl, her name's Jessie. She's a redhead. She's on, I don't know what show, she's Entertainment Tonight or some, you don't watch TV either. I don't. But what is it? Jamie? Much Music. She on Much Music? Jamie? Yeah. So on Much Music, I guess now, but she's long red hair. But yeah, so she was in the commercial with me and she was just getting started. She hosted a few other things like across Canada, like national television. And she was just kind of getting started and we did the commercial together and she became somewhat famous and I'm here doing a podcast with you.
You topped up at Shades of Blue.
Definitely. When it comes to the Y in the road, she got the shitty deal. No question.
You've gone down as a legend since. What's she doing? Much Music.
She could have been sitting here.
Yeah, she could have been sitting here. Have you heard of YouTube?
Yeah. We have like 12.
I didn't know Much Music was still on.
They're bringing back Speaker's Corner.
Oh, yeah? Shit, I figured they were showing like reality shows at this point.
Man, my buddy Boomer. So when I lived in Toronto back in the day, my buddy Boomer Phillips. I don't know if you know him. He's Boomtown on Letterkenny. Do you know that show, Letterkenny?
I know of it. I watched
he was in the movie Goon too. He's in a few other like.
Oh yeah, good movie.
Oh yeah, great guy. I don't know if I can. Anyway, I don't know where the hell I was going with this story.
You got a buddy that's in Letterkenny.
Oh, so he used to do like video on trial. Let me see if I can find a picture of this guy. Like that's him there.
Okay.
Boomtown. Anyways, on And he used to do that Much Music video on trial, man. Like way back in the day. Remember when that was quite a big thing, like that show? And I remember.
Yeah, I remember much of that being huge back in the day, man. I used to love it.
Yeah, but I think like I don't know what the pay rate was, but I think it was like, oh, man, I don't even like a VJ to host Much Music. I think it's like $400 a week or something.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. I remember a buddy of mine in college actually went up and tried out for one of those positions.
Yeah,
when I was in college. It was just like a couple years ago, I guess. Well, yeah.
I hear you. Well, I don't know, folks. What's going on here? We may be getting stubbed. We may be getting snubbed. It wouldn't be the first time. It would not be the last.
Come on, Kevin. I want to know what Sam's going to do with all that money he's supposed to be losing.
Dun, dun, dun.
In season 4, does Sam get arrested by the FBI, or did he get arrested already?
See, I don't know. I don't know any of this. So what? Like, we just finished season 2.
So do you want me to ruin it for you?
Sure, I don't care. Yeah.
Kevin's character in season 3 is still involved with the family, but they start bringing him in to launder money through the casino. So all they want him to do is lose something foolish like $100,000 a day. And he's in there doing it, and the FBI is there doing audits at the same time, so they start riding him. So every time Kevin's character goes to Marty, Jason Bateman, and says, "Listen, man, they're like breathing down my neck, like I can't do this." He just goes, "Sam, just get it done. There's nothing illegal about losing money. Just see you later, Sam. Get it done. See ya." And he just leaves and fucks off on him every time, right? So the poor guy's left standing there, and then the FBI does stay on him. So
he's got quite a big role.
Yeah, we'll be interested to see if he shows up a lot. So we'll be interested to see if Sam breaks now in season 4 and fucking rats everyone out.
Yeah. We'll see.
Come on, Kevin. We need to know these things. We're going to break it here first. Don't worry. It's Nova Scotia.
I promise, folks. He said he's just finishing. Oh, I'll be done in just a bit. I promise. I wouldn't sell you wolf tickets, as Nick Diaz would say. My mom is waiting patiently for this one. I know. My dad maybe, but that's both.
On the show?
That's 2 people watching. That's who it is. Yes, well, there he is, folks. Let's bring him in here. I don't want to brag too much, folks, but we got a superstar joining us, John. Pretty honored to have this guy. You and I obviously have been talking about it for about the last half hour. Both of us massive. Not just, we were talking about my acting career and how I plateaued at really, really shitty commercials. And then, but to me, like we were talking about the behind the scenes and acting and how impressive it is. Like we're fighting background, like it's a whole different level of pressure and behind the scenes kind of stuff. And everyone can ask him the regular questions and stuff. But I'm interested to talk about like just the intricacies about behind the scenes of how tough it really is, because it's an incredibly tough job. So I guess without further ado, folks, let's bring him in. One of the stars of the hit show on Netflix, a super, super talented actor and a phenomenal guy. I've been talking to him a little bit and super sweetheart. So without further ado, folks, from the hit series Ozark, Kevin L. Johnson.
What's going on, everybody?
How are you, man?
Good, man. I'm doing well. I didn't know how this screen was going to look. I got a fan going. I didn't know if that was going to be annoying, but you can't even see it. So cool.
You look great.
That's all good, man. What did you have for supper, man?
Oh, man. Ribs, some pork, mac and cheese, and some cabbage. Yeah.
So is Sam like 400 pounds in season 4? Or like what?
I was like, all right, I usually have a cheat meal on my Saturday after my CrossFit class, which is Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? I usually have a steak on Friday night with some broccoli, but I was like, I think I'm gonna support like some local restaurants and grab some ribs and pork. I'll work it off tomorrow at CrossFit. So it's
that's right. Is your CrossFit gym still going? Are you guys still training? I guess you're able to spread it out to make it happen. Or?
Well, we just opened back up.
Nice.
Like a month ago, but I've just been doing it at home. Like they had like a workout, like a modified workout.
Yeah.
But the app that we use, I've had to come up with my own stuff because they've stopped. I guess they're assuming that we're supposed to be back in the gym now because it's not like social distancing one as well as the one at the gym. So yeah, I'm going to give it a go tomorrow. I haven't been back since we, shut down. So
yeah, man, we're just in the reopening process here. I'm in the gym business up here in Nova Scotia, so we're in the process of reopening now. We just got like our approved requirements today, so we're implementing that shit and see how it all goes, and hopefully we'll be open in another few days. So
nice.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I've been doing it for like 2 years. So I'm kind of a newbie still when it comes to CrossFit. So it's
intense,
but it's good.
Yeah, it's very intense. Yeah, I have like a fitness facility and an MMA gym. I've watched all the CrossFit documentaries. It looks.
I need to watch. I've never seen any.
The Fittest on Earth ones, man, are super
They're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, watch them on Netflix. I always like when those come out, and it's just incredible, man. I mean, these guys have to be some of the top athletes in the world. It's unquestionable.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to be. I think breathing is a big part of it too. Like
100%.
Yeah. It's like those workouts are nonstop a lot of times, and they're like 3 rounds, and you're supposed to get in under like 12 minutes, no matter what the whatever it is you're doing. So
I can't take the people yelling at me, Kevin. Yelling, I'm like, just settle down, leave me alone. I'll get to it.
Yeah, everyone just relax.
Like you're still on the deadlifts. I'm already on the pull-ups. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. My apologies.
Everyone's at their own pace here.
How did you get into acting, Kevin? Like that's we and Derek were just talking about that's got to be one of the hardest industries to break into and to be able to work in as a professional. I mean, take us back to the beginning, man. Like what got you into it, and how did you end up on Ozark, which is obviously a massive show and it's just kicking a ton of ass.
So it started in college. I went in as a computer science major and realized I didn't want to do that. Didn't know enough about computer science. My math wasn't that great. You had to know a lot about calculus and all that stuff, and that was just a little too much for me. So I switched it up to English, and I minored in advertising. And then so when I got into the English major, one of the first classes was English 101. And one of the main things that we had to do was go see the play of the semester. So, and I'd seen plays in high school, but, in high school, it's when you're told, hey, we're going to go see whatever play it is, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof or whatever. In high school, it's like, oh, sweet. So we don't have to be in class. So we get to, it's a day off. Yeah. Cool. But seeing it in college was a different experience. And I was like, man, that looks like a lot of fun. So I decided, to sign up for acting classes the next semester. So I considered myself more of like the performing arts department than the English department because I was always there. Yeah. And a lot of friends who I still have to this day. So let's see. I'm trying to get all the way to Ozark. It takes a second.
This is perfect, man. You're getting all the context there. Yeah.
So
math bullshit. Started out, moved into the arts department. Good.
So I auditioned for one of the plays the following semester, which was the Heidi Chronicles. Didn't get a part in the show, but wanted to be a part of it. So I decided, hey, you guys need, like behind the scenes, like tech crew, because I just want to see how everything, how it all goes down. So that was really cool to get to see like behind the scenes people. I mean, because it's a show within itself. Like when you're, bringing the next set on, and that was a good show because there was a lot of moving parts on that. So that was interesting and different. And then the next semester we had a play. It was a musical called Burial at Thebes, which is based on Greek mythology with Creon and Antigone. And I got a role in that. and it was cool because we had a ramp that went down the middle of the audience, which was
nice.
Which was really interesting because I was a huge, and I still like wrestling. It's very nostalgic to me. So it was like coming full circle, man. It was just like, oh, sweet. So and my character was one of the people that got to come through the audience. So I got to go down the ramp to the main stage. So it was like The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H kind of. You couldn't help but swagger a little bit.
Put the chair down, Kevin.
Yeah. So that was fun. And then I was in a couple other plays in college. Like I was in Henry V. I think it was either Henry V or Henry IV. I always forget which one. But I played Willy Wonka in college.
Wow.
Yeah. That was fun. And then, after graduating, a lot of my friends moved to Chicago or New York. But most of them moved to Chicago because that was like the place, that was like the happening place that was coming up. So the plan was to move there. And I realized I just didn't have the money to make that happen. So I decided to move back home in South Carolina, Lake Wiley, South Carolina. And eventually I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, which is right on the border, it was right there, so it was easy to maneuver there. And I was getting there just when the industry was starting to boom in North Carolina with Homeland, all the Iron Man. I think Iron Man 3, the first 2 Hunger Games, and some other things. So it ended up being a good spot to get my resume going. So I signed up for classes with the teacher I still have to this day. He's in Atlanta now, where I am.
Cool.
And got my headshots done, got my agent, started auditioning, and I was in the first thing I ever booked was a North Carolina education lottery commercial, and it was during like the American Idol kind of craze.
Yeah.
So I was auditioning to be the next Powerball. And I was a cube. So, but it just made sense because this was my first audition.
Yeah.
And I go into the casting office as green as ever, not knowing, I'm just here. Let's do this. And this happy-go-lucky, and they just loved it. And it was like meta acting. It was really, I was just happy to be in the room. And it was an audition about a commercial where you're auditioning for something. So
worked out well.
Wow.
Perfect sense. So booked that. Then I booked a Burger King commercial. I was in One Tree Hill, Banshee, Finding Carter, Reckless was a show that was on, I think CBS or ABC for like a season or 2. These are all small roles. And then I was in the movie Prisoners with Jake Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman and Viola Davis. That was a really good movie. Have you guys seen that before? Prisoners?
Way back, yeah. Well,
yeah.
Way back, I guess.
It's so
6 years ago, yeah.
Very underrated, like great movie. It didn't get a lot of like no Oscar buzz or anything, but it got great reviews. And what else? I was in a movie called Careful What You Wish For, which was probably one of my bigger roles on a movie. It was a lower budget movie with Nick Jonas, Dermot Mulroney. So it was like when Nick Jonas was wanting to show like, hey, I can do more than just be one of the Jonas Brothers. So it was like it was kind of like his coming out party.
I've seen him in a couple things now. Yeah.
Yeah. And man, eventually Ozark came calling, got the audition. Said the breakdown was real estate agent in the Ozarks, loves his dog, likes peanut butter. And
it really helps you get
just an affable guy.
Yeah.
audition, sent in the tape, found out that they were going to go with somebody older. I was like, all right, well, that happens. And then a couple weeks go by, I'm driving to, I already live in Atlanta by this time. And I'm driving back to Charlotte for a short film audition. And my agent calls me and he says, hey, they want to book you for Ozark. So long story. There you go. That's how we get to Ozark.
The car slams. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought about pulling over, but I was like, I got to get to this audition or I'll be late.
That's awesome, man. So what do you prefer? I guess Ozark's big, like working on a big show like that or working on a big movie production. Like you've rubbed shoulders with some huge names. Like you've been in the mix for a while now. Like it's gotta be quite the experience. I mean, especially like the first time you're in that position, eh?
Yeah. I think Ozark has been the best. I mean, it's just like getting to have a character arc, and it's every actor's dream to, be on a show for 3 seasons and not knowing how long I was going to be on the show. Like when we first started shooting, I felt like I felt like we were making something really special. Mm-hmm. Like the chemistry was great. And, I had a feeling that it was going to be a popular show. And like when I was, I think shooting, it was like my second or third day. One of the writers who I'm friends with, she wrote on the first 2 seasons, and she's like, "Hey, I'm writing episode 7 right now. I'm writing some scenes for you. Just wanted to introduce myself." And I was like, "Oh, wow! So I'm in episode 7. Cool."
Oh, wow! That's how you found out.
Yeah,
how far ahead do you get scripts? Like how is it all just kind of going as you go, or?
Yeah, at least on Ozark, and I think a lot of TV shows, the writers are kind of writing as they go.
Okay.
And it's like kind of hush hush kind of thing. Even actors are like, "Hey, can we get the script? What's going on?" "Oh, no, we're not ready yet." "Okay."
I wondered that. Do they even go as far as give you just your part, or do you get a full show script when the time comes, or how's that work?
We get the full script of the episodes that we're in. Yeah. So, like for season 3, I was in 6 out of 10. So I got all the episodes that I was in. And then the other episodes they don't send you. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
You don't need it, I guess.
Do you know anything about season 4? Is it? Have you guys talked about shooting so far with everything shut down, or? What can you leak right now is what we want to know.
So we haven't officially gotten picked up yet, but
come on.
Yeah. I mean, the odds. I'll say that the odds are very, very good.
I would hope so.
Yeah, but there's a lot of shows. Like Outer Banks that came out over maybe 2 months ago. So I think it's because of the COVID situation that Netflix hasn't started renewing these shows yet. Because usually they wait a month and then we announce we're coming back. So if I had to guess, we're going to hear something in the next 2 weeks or so.
Nice.
Maybe next week. I don't know.
How long does it usually take to shoot a season?
5-6 months, I would say.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, because we shoot, if there's 10 episodes in a season, we shoot 2 episodes a month. And then maybe a month is, for reshooting, when we have to go back and reshoot stuff. Mm-hmm. So I would say 5 to 6 months, and then they get it, and they're editing as they go. So
right, okay.
That's why once we start going, it should be out in the next after we're done shooting, it should be out in 3, 4, 5 months, nice. Which is pretty quick, I think.
It is, yeah. I gotta ask you, I don't mean to brag or anything, but I've done some acting myself.
Oh, here we go.
I don't know if you've ever heard of the movie Shades of Blue or not.
Don't look it up.
Did you ever hear the show Queer as Folk on HBO?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as an extra on that show, just mocking myself, obviously, but what I'm getting at is how incredibly crazy the process behind the scenes is. Like I could not get over it with one. I wouldn't even know what was going on. I'm sitting there and they'd be like, cut. And I'm like, what happened? Like, go sit over there for another 6 hours. Go shoot again. I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Why is that? Like, it's just perfection, I guess, is it?
A lot of time, the longest part is setting up the lighting.
Yeah.
Like setting up the lighting, figuring out the blocking, where the background artists are going to be. So all that, and then the actors come on, and once you get, I mean, you know, however long the scene is, it's like maybe no more than 5 minutes of actually shooting. But then you obviously are switching angles, so you shoot it at you know, different POVs. But most of the time, it's figuring out the lighting. That's the part that takes a long time compared to actually shooting, I think.
Yeah, okay, it's interesting. I couldn't wonder. I was always like, why am I like, for real? Like 4 hours, guys? Like, come on, I got shit to do here. But you know, like it's just it's crazy how incredibly.
That's why it's hurry up and wait is what they say. Yeah. That's the name of the game.
A lot of patience it takes. Like, do you go back and you're working on stuff? Obviously, like you're a professional, so sometimes, you know, you've been working on these lines and stuff forever. But how do you pass the time sometimes?
Oh, in the trailer, yeah, just I usually take a nap or just listen to Pandora, or if it's a lot of like a lot of dialogue, I'll look over my dialogue so I'm not like holding us up, you know, when we're actually on set.
It has to be a bit nerve-wracking working with like Jason Bateman and these, you know, big names. Like he directs a lot of the episodes as well, correct?
He directed. He wanted to direct all the episodes, like when we started out, but he realized that was just not going to be possible. So he directed the first 2 in season 1 and the last 2. So he got to direct me in 2 of my episodes. And I think he did this. I think he directed the first 4 in season 2, and then in season 3, I think it was the first 2 and the last. No, I think it was just the first 2. Okay. But yeah, it's we had like a table read in season 1, so that was where I got to meet Jason and Laura. So I kind of got the jitters out of the way of meeting people who I admired, and then getting to work, you know, with Laura, you know, in the first season a lot was just incredible.
Well, and then you're there because you're that level too.
Well, I mean, I'm still an up and comer. I'm still like, you know, I got to grind. It's still a grind, but yeah, man, it's been an incredible ride for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's amazing, and it must be like walking onto an NBA team. You know, everybody else just kind of elevates your ability. You're gonna get to watch them, and you know, I'm sure they're throwing tips around and stuff. Like,
oh yeah,
is everyone on Ozark like easy to work with? I mean, I guess you probably can't really get into it either.
Oh yeah,
so and so's a dick, and so yeah.
No, everybody's awesome. Jason, very down to earth, great director. I mean, he's directed other things, so he knows what he's doing. And like when he gives you notes, they're easy to figure out. And it's really cool, like watching him, especially if you're in a scene with him, and then he's also directing the episode.
Yeah, that's
so
wild.
He you do the scene and then cut, and then he goes to Video Village, as they call it, and he'll look at the playback, and then he'll come back and be like, okay, let's try this. So he's a man of many hats. And then Laura Lynne, she's just a national treasure. Just amazing to work with, sweetheart. And then Julia, badass. Yeah, they're both badasses on the show.
Yeah, they are. The women are the scariest part of Ozark.
Oh yeah, and Julia is such a sweetheart in real life. She's nothing like Ruth, which just shows how extremely talented she is.
Yeah, that is amazing because I've seen her in other things. I think it was a movie I saw her in, and it was like is that Ruth from Ozark? But
Was it recent?
It wasn't that long ago, yeah. Or maybe she was in something. Maybe it was another show.
Oh, it was a TV show?
I can't remember now, but I saw her in something else not that long ago, and it took a minute to realize who it was because the character she plays in the Mouth Otter, the Mouth Otter is the best. I mean, if you see some of the Ruth memes, they're just absolutely hilarious.
Fuck nut, shut your fuck nugget
Yeah,
mouth.
something like that. It's like,
yeah, she's got the greatest lines, man.
She does
Bitch wolf.
lines. Yeah. But yeah. No, it's awesome, man. And what they've managed to do with the characters, like your character, going from like real estate into the strip club into still being involved with these guys, and then at the casino, like you're in the inner circle, I guess now with the oh my goodness, I'm trying to remember what their name is in the show, with the family there,
the Birds,
Yeah, the Birds. That's it. Sorry.
Get it together, Jim. Jesus.
I know, right? I'm like trying to remember it. Friggin' yeah, with the Birds. And they're obviously just getting deeper and deeper. If anyone hasn't seen season 3, shame on you. But at the end of that, I mean, it's left for some growth in the industry, let's say. So, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, your guys kind of fucked with the FBI, I guess, right now.
Yeah,
you don't have to tell us what happens next season, but I mean,
I actually don't know yet.
Yeah,
I haven't. I'm supposed to have a talk with our showrunner Chris Monday soon, but hopefully in the next couple weeks I'll be able to find out. Obviously, I can't say even when I find out, but I don't even know yet. I have some.
Just message us. We won't tell anybody.
I mean, I have some ideas of what I think. I mean. Are we allowed to spoil season 3 on this?
Yeah, man. It's been weeks since I've seen the whole thing. Shame on you if you haven't already.
Right. I think they gotta do something about the proposal, that I did in the last episode. Mm-hmm. They have to either we live happily ever after, or she dumps me, hawks my mom as the ring, and she, pawns it or something. They got to do something there. So I can't see them leaving that
leaving it open. Yeah.
To the side. Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
It's cool when you say that, about the writers, that's a skill that obviously they don't get enough credit, because you're right. You're writing that as it's going, that's where character development comes and makes stories. So actors bring it to life, but writing and acting, that proper combination brings out the beauty of Ozark.
And I was gonna say sometimes the writing, you watch an actor try to say a line that's been poorly written, and it's like, Jesus Christ, man, he did the best he could with that line, because nobody talks like that. But good writers, it's so real.
Yeah, I think that's why you see a lot of the streaming shows are the ones that get the accolades when it comes to award time. There's just, I always say this, they have more freedom, it seems, with streaming services. You don't have to worry about commercials, and even Hulu. They have commercials, but you don't have to get it within a certain time.
Yeah.
So they don't have to censor themselves, because ABC, CBS, NBC, and even Fox, they're still kind of family friendly, even the 9 o'clock shows. But
who watches Fox, by the way?
Some good stuff on there.
I just watch the news. That's the best news, I think.
I watch Fox. I watch them all. So, before we let you go, man, I don't want to hold you up too much, Kevin. Obviously, you do a ton of podcasts, a ton of media. And I can't. We're very honored to actually have you here and joining us up here in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, cool. Very, very cool.
I know my mom and dad are very happy. They're huge fans of the show. So, Brian, my dad,
sweet.
I hope you enjoyed this interview.
What's up, Brian?
For any advice you can give to people, I look at actors. I shouldn't look at actors, but acting and fighting in some ways, there's a lot of adversity you're facing. There's, especially in acting, you could get, I don't know how many times, Kevin, you probably get turned down before you got your first job. what's advice you can give to these people who are struggling right now to keep going, man? You will get your break. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think yeah, you just got to keep pounding the pavement. Take the classes. So, work at your craft. And when you do get, when you get your agent and you got your headshots and all that, and you get your audition, and a lot of them are taped auditions right now. But if you get in the room or you tape an audition, just know that I always tell myself what Bryan Cranston said. When you're not going in there to get a job, going in there is the job. And that'll like help the mental switch in your brain too. Because you're giving them an option of, like, hey, this is what I bring to the table. If you guys like it, cool, let me know. And if you don't, I gave it my best, and I'll see you the next go round. So you can't take it personal. You have no control over the outcome. You could do your best audition ever, and if you got in the room, if you were a fly on the wall and you saw what the producers were thinking and they said, wow, that was really good, but he's too tall. No, he's too short. Our lead is, he's gonna tower right over her. So things like that, you just you got no control over.
So many variables.
Yeah, so just do your best. Yeah,
plain and simple. There you have it, folks. Well, again, are you a fight fan by chance?
I've seen some fighting. Yeah, like Brock Lesnar. I think I saw.
Nice.
I saw. What was it? Like,
when the wrestlers cross over, that's when we get Kevin on board.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I've also seen Conor McGregor. I mean, I saw him fight. I think it was boxing though, but because that was just like
Floyd, Man,
that was like
at
incredible.
Camp in Maine, and everybody piled into the training space, and Pete put a 65-inch TV up with the pay-per-view going. Like even at jiu-jitsu camp, everyone was watching that.
People thought I thought he was going to win. I was like, man, they just don't know.
10 rounds.
Yeah,
10 rounds at the best of our generation.
Have you been watching Dark Side of the Ring? Do you know what I'm talking about? If you're a wrestling fan, it's made. There's a documentary. It's on Crave TV. Do you know what Crave is? Sure. So I think it's a Canadian version of Netflix. But anyway,
Crave is all the HBO shit on it, right?
Yeah, I'll send you the link, Kevin. But it's Dark Side of the Ring, and it's the director is actually a guy named Jason Eisner from up here in Nova Scotia, and it's 2 seasons now, 16 episodes about like the old, like the Montreal Screwjob and like Dino Bravo and like Bret and Owen Hart, and it goes through all these like the Dave Schultz, the slap heard around the world, and like all this. So if you're a wrestling fan, it's super well done too. You'd really enjoy it.
Okay.
Really good TV.
Cool. I do remember the Bret the Hitman Hart documentary. That was what was that called? That was a pretty big documentary when it came out.
It was kind of about that, like, because I had no idea about like this Montreal Screwjob. Like, John, I don't know if you knew about this either. Like the Vince McMahon, like he's totally screwed him right out of his belt. They took it away from him, the whole script. He had no idea. He went out there and that
was real. Yeah, like him spitting was totally real.
Spit right in his face.
Yeah,
he's like a big loogie too. It wasn't like it was.
But Vince was like, "Hey, this is great for TV." And I think that was I think if I'm correct, that is how Vince McMahon became, because he was a ring announcer, but he was the owner.
Yeah.
But he was a ring announcer at first, for the show, and then all of a sudden he screws over Bret the Hitman Hart, and he becomes like the guy, you don't like your boss, and he was like, oh, this is perfect. I'll be the guy that everybody hates.
That's
and
right.
Stone Cold was born. The anti-hero. Yeah,
it's so true. I never thought of it that way. That's exactly, like, again, going back to it, writing.
Writing, and writing as you go, making the best of it.
Yeah, we got to do some better writing up here for all you fighters that fight for us. Get prepared. Your fights are going to be staged moving forward.
Don't fucking spit on me, though.
All right, don't spit on me. All right, Kevin. Well, man, it's it's an absolute honor for us up here to have you join us. And anybody, make sure you follow Kevin. Where can anybody find you, Kevin, if you want them to find you?
Yes, please do. So on Instagram, it's going to be at the Kevin L. Johnson.
Okay.
And then Twitter is going to be Kevin_L_Johnson.
Or L _ let me see if I can get this up here. If I get it right. Dun, dun, dun. How's that, sir?
I don't know if you have to have it capitalized. I mean, it's capitalized on Twitter, but I think if you put that in, it would come up, I would think.
I would think it
All
would.
capitalized, like the whole thing is caps?
Just the first letters.
Yeah.
We're really going in depth here to get you.
I don't think it matters. Email's okay.
If you're looking to follow them, folks, you can find them. We won't do too much, folks. We'll put it up afterwards, and we'll put the episode. Again, it's an honor, man. Lots of love to you and your family down in Georgia. And John, any final words?
Thank you, Kevin. It was really cool to talk with you, man, and I look forward to seeing where things take you, man. I'm sure, especially now after talking to you, I'm going to be keeping an extra close watch on your career, man. So keep it up. You're killing it.
Guys.
Huge fan.
I appreciate that.
Hell yeah, man.
To get you up to a fight, if you're ever interested in coming up to Nova Scotia, man, we'd be honored to have you. So,
sweet. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, once everything, all
man.
the crap,
we got to keep the faith, man.
under
It's
control.
gonna go
Yeah,
back to normal. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. There you have it, folks. Kevin.
Cool,
sweet.
man.
And we'll talk to you soon. Kevin Johnson, Ozark.
Woo!
Awesome.
That was cool.
Super cool, man. Wow.
Yeah. Don't forget to tell him to text us the script as soon as he gets it. So.
Yeah. Very, very cool. Man. Cool.
That was awesome, man. Yeah.
It's again, doing this kind of stuff, John, we can sit here and talk. It's cool to talk to local people. You can talk to people who are famous, and it's good. It's good for the mind. It's good for the mental health, and it's important to talk. So anyway, we've been talking for like 6 hours, it feels like.
We got our Bowker, man. I think my office is about 200 degrees right now. I don't know what's going on, but.
Yeah, that was good, though. Good job prying for some information.
You like that? I did my best, bro.
That was good. All right, folks, we'll be back. What day is today? Friday. We'll be back Monday night. We're off again for the weekend. We'll be back next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I believe we're going to switch to a 3-day format moving forward. And otherwise, thanks for tuning in. Thanks to our sponsors again at Maritime Madness. You can check them out there as you see in the below. You can make sure you support these people who are supporting us, folks, because they're not going to support people if at the end of the day it doesn't make sense. So if there are companies that if you enjoy our podcast and you enjoy our brand, then support these companies because they're going to continue supporting us and continue to make really great content like this.
Hey man, these are people supporting mixed martial arts and supporting our brand, and
you got her.
That's what it's all about, man. If we can all help each other.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. All right, buddy. We'll see you tomorrow night, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Lots of love. If you can be anything in this world, John.
Be kind, brother. That's
all right.
We'll get out of here.
Folks. As always, thanks for tuning in, and thank you to our sponsors. We'll see you tomorrow.